Hello and welcome to A Tuesday Truth with Thera-Mom. I'm Kelly Richardson. I'm glad you're here. Today is Book Buzz edition, and I'm just going to share a little book that I thought was a great book for people that are readers. And if you're not, get it in audio. You can do books on tape. You can listen to it when you're driving. Great book. Today's Book Buzz is by Jesse Itzler. It's called Living with Monks. He's a New York Times bestselling author. He wrote Living with SEAL, where he actually had David Goggins, the very famous Navy SEAL guy, come live with him for a month and really kind of learned a lot of lessons about the power of our mind. And our mind is so much stronger than our body and our desire to push through hard things. And it's a great book. Living with SEAL is excellent. Loved it. But Living with Monks is so good, because he goes to live for 16 days at a monastery in Upper New York. And through humor, he teaches us about patience and about presence and about gratitude, and about being intentional in how we live. And there's so many life lessons, so many good nuggets. I think for teenagers, there is some cuss words. So let me just warn you, he's funny, but he does cuss. Those kind of things don't bother me. But if it does you, maybe this isn't the book for you. But if you don't really care, there's a couple cuss words. It's not a lot, but there is some in here. But I think it's a great book for teenagers because there's so many little nuggets. So it was Book Buzz. I read a little bit to you. And there was one point at day 10 where he thought he was done. He just was done with, no electronics and getting up early and just kind of the strict lifestyle that they were leading. And he was going to go tell them that he was going to leave that day. And he said, and then it hit me, remember tomorrow. The voice inside my head was screaming louder and louder, and it kept saying the same thing over and over. Remember tomorrow, remember tomorrow, remember tomorrow. It's my mantra I live by. It's the way I beat up the bully in my head. And in that moment, I knew I had to remember how tomorrow was going to feel if I pulled the ripcord too soon and went home. Instantly, everything changed. When you come to a point where you have to make a key decision, remember how that choice will make you feel tomorrow. He says, you want to drop out of a marathon at mile 18? Okay, that's fine. But remember how it's going to feel tomorrow. You want to get drunk and dance on the table at a company party? Okay, but remember how it's going to feel tomorrow when you walk into the office. There's so many things for teenagers, right? You want to do something stupid tonight that seems funny with your friends. Remember tomorrow what it's going to be like if you get in trouble. You want to cheat on a test or an exam. Remember tomorrow what's going to happen if you get caught. And he said, and he goes on to say that, when you want to quit, get uncomfortable and remember tomorrow. We spend so much of our time trying to avoid pain. We're all wired to seek comfort, and he says, and I love being comfortable. However, the real growth comes when you step outside of that comfort zone and tap into your reserve tank. That's where you see what you're made of, and that's often the place that you feel the most alive. And he goes on, and there's so many little nuggets like that. And the other thing that I kind of tabbed in the book, there's so many things I've kind of written in it, is he talks about the wisdom of the monks, right? They live these very simple, very humble lives without electronics and social media, and they slow down. And he said one brother turned, because he asked one of the brothers about their decision process to become a monk. It's got to be a pretty key decision to give your life to a monastery. He says, one brother turned to me and said, it's really very simple. Decide that you want it more than you're afraid of it. And I think this book has so many little nuggets like that, so many little things that we can just read and understand as we go through. He says, if you ever... He says, one thing I knew before I stepped into the monastery was if you're surrounded by greatness, take notes, pay attention, ask questions, right? So often when people are surrounded by amazing people, we want to act like we know it all, or we do it all, or we don't want them to know less or think less about us. But the first thing to do is to learn from other people. He says the monks get up early. They start their day before sunrise. They have a plan. They're efficient. They don't get flustered. And those are all of these little lessons that we can learn when we slow down. The book actually says, Living with Monks, What Turning Off My Phone Taught Me About Happiness, Gratitude, and Focus. Amazing book buzz. Living with Monks, cannot recommend it enough. Living with Seal is great, but Living with Monks, with wisdom and with humor, Jesse Itzler takes us not only inside the monastery, but also inside ourselves towards a life that has more stillness, calmness, presence, patience, gratitude, all of those intentional things that make a difference in our world. Have a great week. Happy Tuesday, and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.